is Ryan, and this will be my second video journal. So I am working towards pursuing a career in medicine. That's what I talked about in my last video journal. And my goal is to become a physician, a surgeon to be more exact. I want to be a surgeon because I want to be in some sort of role where I can combine strong clinical decision-making skills with leadership and patient advocacy. And because of that, the video that resonated with me the most in our Unit 4 was Catherine's TED Talk on being wrong. What really stood out to me was her idea that being wrong doesn't actually feel like being wrong, it feels like being right. And that sounds really simple, but honestly it kind of made me feel a little unsettling when you really think about it, because she says that we don't have an internal alarm that tells us when we're wrong in the moment. Until when we realize it, we genuinely feel certain that what we think is correct. So she calls this, I believe, error blindness, and I think that concept is incredibly important in a professional context. So in medicine especially, confidence is often associated with competence. So patients want doctors who seem sure of their decisions, they want someone who seems confident. But Catherine challenges that assumption. Basically the story she tells is that about a surgeon operating on the wrong leg really stayed with me. So that surgeon didn't lack any education or any sort of training. He simply felt like that he was on the correct side. He chose one leg. And that shows how dangerous unquestioned certainty can be. That example really made me reflect on what failure means in career, like how we define failure. So failure, in my opinion, isn't always about not trying hard enough or not being smart enough. Sometimes I feel it is questioning your own assumptions. And in a high stakes environment such as healthcare, that distinction truly and really, really matters. Another part of the talk that really hit home with me was how she explained that culturally we, from a young age, that being wrong means something is wrong with us. That something is wrong with our brain, something's wrong with, I don't know, something like that. In school, mistakes are often associated with being careless, or you're simply not up to par, you weren't intelligent enough, you weren't physically fit enough, etc. So we grow up wanting to protect that feeling of being right. It feels safe to. It makes us feel confident, it makes us feel more competent, right? On the flip side though, I feel like that attachment can really block our growth. So let's put this in perspective. So if I am overly exaggerated about being right, I might resist feedback, I might refute it. I might become defensive, and I might just ignore new information because it challenges my previous understanding. So in a field like medicine, where learning never stops, you're learning every single day, you could always be learning something new, upgrading your knowledge, that could really limit our path. So in terms of being resilient, this talk really helped me think about different strategies that I wanted to apply for my own development. So some examples that I have first is that I want to separate my mistakes from identity. So instead of thinking, oh, I got this wrong and this just means I'm not capable, I want to reframe to something as, okay, I got this wrong, so now I got new feedback, which means I have new information. That shift in mindset, I feel, makes it less personal and just makes it more constructive. Second, I want to practice questioning certainty, especially when I'm feeling the most confident. So in scenarios where I feel like I am very sure about something, I want to take a pause. I want to ask myself, what assumptions am I making? What evidence might contradict this? I feel like this type of intellectual humility isn't a weakness, but actually improves decision making. Lastly, number 3, I want to get more comfortable with being uncomfortable, with the idea that I can be wrong. Catherine makes one very important distinction where that being wrong isn't what feels bad, it is realizing that you were wrong that makes you feel uncomfortable. I feel like this moment specifically in the TED Talk can make people realize certain emotions like embarrassment or destabilization, something like that. However, I'm just like, okay, so if I can learn to sit with that feeling instead of immediately feeling all defensive and I need to make a case for myself, I feel this builds true character and true resilience. Not only in like your own field, but in, as a person in all of the different aspects in your life. So overall, this talk has really changed how I feel about failure. Like, it's not just about, saying that, okay, I made obvious mistakes and learning from those and like treating them as just simply setbacks. I feel like it is about how open you are to the possibility that you might be mistaken and how you respond to that when it happens, and not just realizing, oh, this is what it is and that is that. So as someone who wants to work in medicine, a person who wants to build a future in surgery, I think developing intellectual humility is just as important as developing any sort of technical skill or building on any sort of knowledge base. And being able to say, maybe I'm wrong, and then being able to readjust accordingly, I feel like that really makes a big difference in patient safety and collaboration with all your peers. So my biggest takeaway from Unit 4 is that resilience is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about responding to them thoughtfully, it is about letting go of your own ego and making sure that that doesn't get in the way. And I think that that's a mindset I want to keep building as I move forward in my career. Thank you so much.